Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I'm doing kind of an impromptu video today. I wasn't really planning on doing a video on this subject matter, but I wanted to kind of give my thoughts on Obi Wan Kenobi, the new TV show on Disney Plus. Very big anticipated, I think, show, one of the most anticipated shows that we're going to have this year, probably. One of my most anticipated kind of shows that I'm kind of excited about and interested in seeing what they're doing. Um, like I said, I wasn't really, I don't usually do reaction videos to TV shows, except I did one on Cobra Kai. The last season of Cobra Kai, I binge watched and did a whole reaction to what I thought about that show. Uh, Anyways, I usually don't do too much, but I guess I'm doing it here because I I've been thinking a lot about the show and excitement to watch it. I watched it last night, and I've been thinking about it all night. I've been thinking about it all this morning. It's been one of the subject matters I've been pondering quite a bit about what I thought about the show itself. Because to me, what Star Wars is doing, TV show wise, is the best thing going on right now. I love The Mandalorian, and I love Cobra Kai, which is on Netflix. Those are like my two favorite shows right now that are currently going on. So I'm excited for anything that comes out there. Uh, and this Obi Wan Kenobi, Star Wars did Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, and now this is like, and they did what's called the Bad Batch, which was an animated show they also did. So those have been the kind of shows that they've done so far on Disney Plus. Uh, Feels like they've done a lot more MCU stuff than Star Wars stuff, but I feel like the Star Wars stuff they've done is so much better than what they've done for the MCU as far as TV goes. And so I'm kind of excited to see what happens on Star Wars because they've done a pretty good job. A lot of people didn't like the Book of Boba Fett. I actually quite enjoyed it, but most of that's because spoilers for that show. The Mandalorian, I call him the Mandalorian, the main character of the Mandalorian shows up and is in like half of that show, and so he makes, and also my favorite character of all time, Baby Yoda shows up, and so my two favorite characters in Star Wars right now showed up in Book of Boba Fett, and that made that show so much better. And so I actually quite enjoyed that show. Still, The Mandalorian's number one, then that was right behind it. Bad Batch, is just okay. Not one of my favorites of what's going on. So coming up to Obi Wan Kenobi, I think, man, they're on such a good track record as far as Disney Plus shows. And this was a show I remember hearing about a while ago. Of course, that they're gonna do Obi, and it was like, oh, interesting. I don't know what they're gonna do with Obi Wan Kenobi because, well, from what we know from Obi Wan Kenobi after Revenge of the Sith, is there's a 19-year period where Obi-Wan Kenobi is in Tatooine looking over Luke Skywalker, but not having any kind of relationship with him. Uh, Luke kind of just knows there's an old hermit named Ben Kenobi, and that's all we know. And so not much is going on except for him just hanging around until finally in episode 4, uh, we have the moment where R2D2 and C3PO come upon him asking Obi-Wan for help, for Leia asks help for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Luke somehow gets into possession of the droids, and so that's how we connect Luke with Obi-Wan, and then they go on their adventure. So 19 years, nothing happens. So you're like, how can they make a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi where nothing happens for 19 years? So they have to kind of come up with some stuff to, and I'm okay. I'm thinking, okay, surely they have some idea on how to make an exciting show for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Something, I guess, happens, and they have to kind of retcon everything that happens in the original trilogy to make something exciting happen during this time period. And it's like, okay, sure, you can come up with something. They've been doing a lot of retconning, I feel like, for the show, because from what we know from Revenge of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, and then they and all the stormtroopers, the clone troopers, turn on all the Jedis, and Order 66. They go and they kill all the Jedi. And from what we know, we see him killing tons of Jedi. And from what we know, the only two Jedi that survive are Yoda and Obi Wan Kenobi, because they appear in the original series. And so we have to have those two survive. So those two, we know Yoda goes to Dagobah and is hanging out there for 19 years. And Obi-Wan goes to Tatooine to look over Luke Skywalker, who's staying with his uncle and aunt. And he's just hanging around, I guess, maybe to protect him, maybe to train him someday. I don't know. But so that's what we know. But then since then, they've come up with all these. I think they figure like, well, we need to make more shows. We need to make more Jedis alive. We need to make more Siths. So there's more bad guys and there's more Jedis, and we have more battles that way. So since then, they created a character named Ahsoka, who was apprenticed to Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars, which doesn't appear in any of the original series. She didn't appear anywhere except for Clone Wars, and then I guess Star Wars Rebels, and she's gonna have her. And she appeared in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, and she's gonna have her own show. So we're gonna have some adventures with her. But she's a totally new character that was created after the fact, that never mentioned in the original series, which is always odd when there's characters that are like Qui-Gon Jinn or something like that. So that's important, and they never mentioned in the original series because he didn't exist at that time. So it's a little odd to go, oh yeah, there's one important character that we just never talked about. So that's always kind of odd, I think. Oh, retconning. And we get to, I guess, like, there's Star Wars Rebels, which I'm only like 3 episodes in, and I've heard some things about it, so I'm kind of behind on what happens in Rebels. Except there's these Siths called the Inquisitors that appear in Obi Wan Kenobi, are kind of the main bad guys. We meet 4 of them in total, 3 major ones, and one real major one named Reva, who seems to be like the main bad, maybe of the series, besides Darth Vader. Maybe it appears at some point. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But and so it's weird because the Inquisitors are never mentioned in the original series. So the Inquisitors are these Siths, and it's like, where did the Sith come from? Because the whole idea is that there's only 2 Sith, a master and apprentice, and that's the whole idea behind the Sith, is that you don't have more than one Sith. And so, of course, they've done some retconning in Clone Wars. There's another Sith named Ventress, who's like a secret apprentice, I think, of Count Dooku. And at that point, we have Count Dooku, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine. Or no, we don't have Darth Vader yet. We just have Count Dooku and Emperor Palpatine at that point. There's only 2 Siths at one time, usually. So we were totally retconning that idea and going, okay, forget the whole 2 Sith thing. Now we're going to have multiple Siths, which is a hard word to say over and over again. Bad Jedis, basically. The dark side. So at this point, we got multiple Siths who can use Force powers and has red lightsabers. And we have the Inquisitors, and so they kind of come with this idea like, okay, we can have more than 2. And we have Palpatine, Darth Vader, and I guess Darth Vader decided, forget the rule of 2, I think they call it. We're going to just convert as many Jedis into Siths as we can, and that's the Inquisitors. So evidently, some point they don't explain this. I don't know if they explain in Rebels, but I'm guessing they find Jedi and they say either we're going to kill you, or you can convert to the dark side and join us, and maybe that's how they get some. Or I don't know how they get these Inquisitors. I'm kind of confused by how they come up with all these Inquisitor characters. But we have at least 4. I don't know how many Inquisitors there are total, but I know there's at least 4 in the series that we've seen. And so, but I understand they want these Inquisitors, so we have bad guys that the good guys can fight. Because it's going to be boring if you just only have, Darth Vader's the only Sith guy that you can fight, and it's going to be a little more boring that way, I think. So I think they thought we need to come up with more bad guy characters. So they keep coming up with new bad guy characters that don't exist in the original series, which is interesting. So I don't know if the Inquisitors are all dead by the original series and we just don't hear about them. Because you think they would say something about the Inquisitors, but they don't, because they didn't exist. So I always think it's odd when they do that kind of stuff, when they go, oh yeah, there's these other people that existed, just nobody talked about them. Anyways, I know I said that already, but that just kind of bothers me a little bit. Anyways, but we have the Inquisitors. They're hunting the Jedis that are still alive from orders that didn't die in Order 66, and so they're going around hunting Jedis, basically. We also have we see one more Jedi in this series. I think his name is Nari, I guess, And I think he's probably was a Padawan during the Order 66, survived, and he's been on the run. And then he meets Obi Wan in this series. And spoilers for the series if you haven't watched the series. The first two episodes are out. So if you haven't seen the first two episodes, I'm spoiling the episodes, what goes on. So don't listen anymore from what I'm saying. But we see this this young Jedi named Nari, who meets Obi Wan, wants help. Obi Wan says no, just give up. Basically, Obi Wan comes this guy who's a pacifist who says, just give up. We lost. We can't win. And so we know there's a guy named Nari that's a Jedi Padawan that's still alive at one point. And so there might be more Jedi that are alive. We just don't know. They can do anything they want in Star Wars right now. They can make up anything they want. We just go, oh, I guess there's more Jedis. It was kind of cool just to think there was only like 2 Jedis left, Yoda and Obi-Wan, but now it's not as cool because there's more Jedi, there's more Siths along the way. So it kind of ruins somewhat the original series in that way to me, but we have to have them to have an exciting series, hopefully. That's what you have to do. So we have to retcon all that. I guess I should say, I was so anticipating this series, I was so excited. I think from the trailer, when I saw the trailer, that's when I kind of got excited. I was like, oh, that looks so, I don't know, and seeing Ewan McGregor come back with Obi Wan Kenobi somehow does give me some chills of like, even though I don't like the prequels, I'll say it out loud, I never watch the prequels anymore. I pretend they don't exist. But still something's cool about seeing Ewan McGregor come back almost 20 years later, or maybe 20 plus years later, to play the same character. Really great character. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of the best characters in the Star Wars franchise, I think. So it's cool to see him come back, and somehow it's kind of cool, and that's why it gave me kind of like, oh, maybe they have something really cool for the series, I'm hoping. Anyways, so watching it the other day, at the end of the two episodes, I would say I have a little bit of a disappointment feeling, and I think it's just because I had so much anticipation. Here's the first 2 episodes. I'm thinking, oh man, I guess I'm looking for something real exciting to happen. And in my opinion, nothing really happens. I watched the first 2 and I'm just like, oh, I feel like what was the point of all this? Like, I feel like what happened? Nothing really happened. We just kind of see, oh, Obi-Wan's just hanging out in Tatooine doing nothing, and then he goes on a mission to rescue Princess Leia from some captors. And episode 2 is all about that. And there's only one big reveal really in the whole series, and the first 2 episodes. There's 6 episodes in total, so we've gotten through 2 of the 6 episodes right now. And the big reveal is that it seems that Obi-Wan doesn't know that Anakin's still alive and that he is Darth Vader. And Reva, one of the main Inquisitor in the series, it seems, tells him that Anakin's still alive, and he's shocked, like, what, Anakin's still alive? Can't be. Anyways, and it ends on a shot of Darth Vader in his Bacta tank, whatever, and doing the heavy breathing. And so that's kind of the big thing. I was like, oh, I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Like, oh, this is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and so for 10 years, Obi-Wan thought Anakin was dead. And then to learn, oh, Anakin's still alive, and he's the Darth Vader, and all this. Anyways, so that kind of starts. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I think that'd been more interesting to happen than maybe in the first episode, because with 6 episodes, you don't have a lot of time. You need to get through the series and do something exciting in a short amount of time. So it felt like to do 2 episodes, a third of the series already, and just felt like nothing exciting happened. So I'm a little disappointed. I'm like, you couldn't have anything exciting happen to make me feel like, oh wow, I can't wait for the next episode. Because right now I'm just like, oh, I'm not really looking forward to the next episode that much, because I'm like, oh, nothing. Are they going to do anything? I don't know. Maybe they'll do something exciting. We'll see. I'm hoping. We still got enough time, I guess. Maybe the next episode they'll do something cool and make me go, oh wow, this is a good series. Kind of like Book of Boba Fett. The first couple episodes were kind of like, who cares? But then once I got to the 4th episode, then exciting things happen. So. But it's hard when you only have 6 episodes. It seems like you need to have more exciting things happen. It's hard to have filler episodes, as you call them, to go, oh, this felt like just an episode. They needed 6 episodes, so they just filled out the time with this episode, and then they only had ideas for maybe 1 or 2 exciting episodes. So we'll see. If there's some really good episodes coming up, that might save the series. But like right now, I'm just like, wow, I'm kind of disappointed with what they've done with it so far. And maybe again, maybe just because I had so much hype for it, that's why I'm disappointed a little bit with the first two episodes. And I don't know what to. I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I was expecting something big. I was expecting to see Darth Vader, or I thought it'd be cool to see Liam Neeson come back as Qui-Gon Jinn. They seemed to kind of hint at him coming back, but he didn't come back in the first two episodes. So maybe he'll come back, and if he comes into one of the episodes and we see Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost, I think that would be a big moment. That'd be kind of exciting. I'd be like, oh my God, Qui-Gon Jinn's back. That'd be great to see. I would love to see him in the first episode. Like I said, something to really make me go, oh man, get me excited. But to not have anything happen and just go, oh, that was it? Okay, like what was the point of that? Those two things are I think is what all Star Wars fans are kind of looking to, is either see Qui-Gon Jinn and also see Darth Vader and Obi Wan meet at some point. And I don't know, you figure they're gonna meet. It might be the last episode, which would suck because it'd be like, man, this is what I've been waiting for, to see those two kind of meet again at some point. And that's the whole purpose of doing this series, is to see those two meet. Otherwise, what's the point of making a Kenobi series? So we'll see. Maybe they can still save the series by doing some really cool stuff, I guess. And I say cool stuff, like the first episode begins. The best scene of the whole show was at the very beginning of the first episode, when we see this Jedi training some Padawans, and all of a sudden, obviously, Order 66 has just been named, and people come out and start shooting at them, stormtroopers, whatever, clone troopers, or I guess the stormtroopers maybe at this point, and the Jedi, this female Jedi master is like, she's fighting off these. She's leading these Padawans, trying to lead them to safety, and she's fighting off. And the action's done so well, and it's like this one shot that's just following them as she's fighting off people, and the action is done really, really well. Like, I love the choreography of everything, and it ends with the Jedi Master getting killed, and then there's 5 kids maybe. Then they're like, oh, we need to get out of here, so they all run. And that's how they begin the show, and that's the best scene of the whole show, is that one scene, because that's the only time you ever see a lightsaber fight, kind of. Not a lightsaber fight, but at least you see someone using a lightsaber against someone shooting at them. And then we don't really get lightsabers at all, except for Reva pulls hers out every once in a while, but she never does anything with it. Obi Wan Kenobi never fires up his lightsaber, and even there's one point where you're like, okay, he's going to pull out the lightsaber and we're going to have a lightsaber fight, and he looks scared, like he's too scared to even. It's weird. Obi Wan Kenobi is like just a shell of a man that he used to be, or a shell of a Jedi he used to be, and he's so afraid to hit that lightsaber, so we don't get to see him use the lightsaber yet. That's probably going to be a big reveal at some point in the series. Maybe he'll finally get the lightsaber out, and that's going to be a big deal. And I'm hoping we'll get some lightsaber fights, because, I mean, why else do the show unless we're going to get some lightsabers? Because that's the best part of Star Wars for me, is seeing the lightsabers. That gets me excited. So I'm a little disappointed that we never got to see a lightsaber fight, even though there were some opportunities. There was an opportunity between Reva and Nari, the Jedi that they find, and they could have like a cool little lightsaber fight, and then Obi Wan Kenobi had a chance to do a lightsaber fight with Reva. I mean, maybe nobody gets killed or defeated and he just runs off, but still, it'd been nice to have at least something. Besides that, there's hardly any action, it felt like. And there's a couple of shootouts between Obi-Wan and other bounty hunters, and a couple hand-to-hand fight scenes, real short. But really, there's like hardly any action. It was kind of a boring, slow-paced first episode. And I've heard other YouTubers say the same thing. It's paced very slowly, which I think we were kind of wishing a little more faster pace, since there's only 6 episodes. And I understand they're just trying to establish character and what's going on, the motives and the story and the plot. But I don't know. I wish it was a little more faster paced, and maybe it will be after this. But first 2 episodes is just like, not very exciting, kind of boring. I wanted a little more action. I wanted a lightsaber fight, something interesting. I wanted to see a Darth Vader reveal, a bigger one, or a Qui-Gon Jinn reveal. Something like that would have made it worth it. And I feel like in the first 2 episodes, you need to do something exciting to keep the fans wanting to see it. But instead, you kind of make it boring, and I think a lot of fans are like, oh, man, is this show going to be good? And now you're starting to question, oh, man, I'm so excited about the show. And there's nothing worse than being excited about a show and then be disappointed. That's worse than not being excited and it being bad. It wouldn't been so bad, but to be so excited and then go, oh, this is not quite what I was hoping. Anyways, so hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe the show will turn itself around here, and I'll give it praise if it gets better in the next couple episodes. For the first few, though, I would say it was not. It was underwhelming, I think, as a Star Wars fan. And I've heard other people. I've heard some YouTubers rant that was the worst thing they've ever seen. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And some are pretty nice and say it's a really good episode. Like it's like it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It was just like I'm kind of in between of like how to feel about it and go, it just wasn't quite up to. I have a high level, high bar since Mandalorian, and it doesn't reach the Mandalorian level, in my opinion. Anyways, um, and I guess I'm just kind of I'm just going off the head. I haven't really planned anything, so I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, but uh, and just thinking about Obi Wan himself, it's kind of a disappointing character in some ways. I guess I wasn't sure what to expect. It's been 10 years since Revenge of the Sith. Evidently, uh, when he went to Tatooine, he buried his lightsaber and he doesn't use the Force ever. So he's what a boring lifestyle. Just lives by himself in a cave for 10 years, and every once in a while looks at Luke through binoculars to see, I guess, he's still alive and all that. But he's kind of just totally did away with the Jedi and doesn't do anything Jedi wise, and just like I'm just not gonna be a Jedi anymore. And he's very defeatism. I don't know if that's a word, but he's just like, oh, we lost. That's it. Not worth trying. The Empire's evil and they're gonna kill people, but I'm just gonna hide out. And but so he has this defeat personality, but then at the same time he talks about training. When Luke gets old enough, he's going to be trained, and it's like, what do you mean be trained? You're not even pretending to be a Jedi anymore. Who's going to train him? You're going to train him. How are you going to train him when you're not even when you totally have given up the whole Jedi lifestyle? So I don't know. So it seems odd, that whole choices that Obi-Wan's making in the series to me. That is he going to, he wants to train him, but why train him? What's the purpose of training him? What's the plan? Is there an end game? What's the big plan? We're going to train Luke and then he's going to help us defeat the Empire someday? Were they thinking that? Or they're going to train Luke and just for him to be a moisture farmer for his rest of his life, but he has Jedi skills? Or I know, of course, Luke later on wants to join the academy or something like that and fly ships. So, I mean, I don't know. What is the purpose of all of it? I don't quite get. And what is Obi's motivations? I don't understand in this series. Um, what time we get to episode 4? I mean, he done reluctantly, but he's just like, oh, I guess we can train you now because Leia needs help. So hey, Luke, let's start training you. I'm gonna tell you for the first time that your father was a Jedi, something you never heard of for 19 years of your life, and I need to start training you, and all this stuff kind of comes all of a sudden in episode 4, the first Star Wars movie. But he seems like he still has it at that point. Of course, that's 9 more years after this series. He obviously decided to keep the lightsaber, and he's not a great lightsaber fighter, but he still kind of has some, he knows how to use the Force better. In this series, it seems like he doesn't even know how to use the Force. Like even picking up a little girl, it seems like really hard for him, which shouldn't be. So maybe his skills get better after the series. So by the time he gets to episode 4, he can train Luke. Um, and at that point, they want to join the rebellion, I guess, and help the rebellion against the Empire. So I don't know if that was. I don't understand what the goal of the Jedi were, and it just feels like an odd idea. And I feel like Obi-Wan and Yoda are just like big cowards. Like after Revenge of Sith, and like a lot of Jedi's are killed, and the clone troopers are now working for Darth Sidious, Emperor Palpatine, and he's in charge now. And they decided to give up and be like, I guess we lost. I guess there's no worth fighting anymore. Just give it up to the evil Empire, and let's just go off all our separate ways and just hang out for the next 19 years and do nothing while the Empire gets stronger. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why didn't they have some kind of game plan? Like instead of separating and pretending not to be Jedi's, like why I would have just been like, let's try to find all the Jedis that are still alive, because evidently we didn't know any Jedis were alive, but evidently there's Jedis that are still alive in between these 19 years. So it'd been like, let's find Ahsoka, let's find these Jedis that are still alive, and let's, form some kind of alliance. Let's have a secret base, on Dagobah maybe or something. And obviously Alderaan is very friendly towards the Jedis, and they're friendly towards the rebellion against the Empire. So it's like, let's, set a base in Alderaan maybe, and let's form some kind of rebellion and try to fight the Empire someday and try to take them back over. Like, it doesn't make sense to just give up. It's like, don't give up until you're dead. I mean, if you're a Jedi, you should be fighting until you're dead. I feel like it makes sense to retreat until you can get enough forces to come back. But so retreat, regroup, come back, instead of just going, oh, let's just give up and let the evil Empire, run everything now for the rest of our lives. To me, it's cowardice, and it's not very heroic, and just makes no sense to the Jedi. Anyway, so it makes me not like the Jedi very much, or at least Yoda and Obi-Wan, that they just kind of separated and didn't try to help other Jedis and didn't try to help the rebellion at all, it seems like. And just, that's kind of my thoughts on it. It makes me kind of rethink the whole series and think, like, man, it feels like there's a lot of bad mistakes made by the rebellion and by the Jedi. Like why don't we just get together and start, trying to fight back at some point? And let's train Luke and Leia to be Jedi instead of telling them that they aren't Jedi. And why separate Luke and Leia? I always like, put Luke and Leia in Alderaan, have them be brother and sister, have them grow up brother and sister, tell them that they're Jedi, secretly train them, and then maybe they're strong enough the Force that they somehow can defeat, Darth Vader someday and Emperor Palpatine. And once you can defeat those two, you can take over the Empire, maybe. It seemed like there's better ideas than whatever they did. Now watching this series, that's my ideas anyways. I wish they could have done better. So anyway, so that's my thoughts, random thoughts on Obi Wan Kenobi. Maybe I'll do some more when the next episode comes out, I think next Wednesday. There's only 4 more episodes, so we'll see if it gets better. I'll maybe do some more videos, giving my thoughts on the series in total and what I think about it. Right now, I'm a little disappointed and just like, it seems like a long ways until Wednesday to go, man, I hope that, and the next episode is not very good. I'm like, man, this has just been the biggest disappointment of my life, so we'll see. So feel free to comment. Is Kenobi, did you like it? Are you disappointed with it like me? Did you think it was terrible? Am I being too harsh on it? Maybe I am. I don't know. Because I just watched it yesterday, so maybe I need more time to think about it. But feel free to comment if you have any feelings on Obi Wan Kenobi, the new Disney Plus show, the first 2 episodes, and yeah, I'd love to see that. And some of you I know probably don't watch Disney Plus. I think Adam probably does. Hopefully, maybe my sister does. So maybe I'll get a couple comments. We'll see. But anyway, so thank you for watching this video, and thank you for liking it, and just really appreciate all the supporters, for the subscribers for supporting the channel. Just thank you very much, and have a good day.